Howdy. We're on Windy watching SO2, sulfur dioxide, which is related to volcanic activity and also sometimes copper mines are the places where they process it. They can also emit SO2. And I went back because I thought that maybe it's more reliable because since it's not a forecast, but I don't know. It's just a model, so we have to take this with a grain of salt after all. And I want you to check out places which usually aren't really associated with any volcanic activity. Oslo, Stockholm, St. Petersburg. Let's zoom in a bit. Oslo, Stockholm, St. Petersburg. I might press pause now for this. And here it's not that red anymore. What happened? Wrong button. But there is still something. 1.41 milligram per square meter. Why isn't it cubic meters? I don't know. Here we have 2. And as we go over to St. Petersburg, we have something like 5 milligrams per square meter. Which is a little bit confusing. And I was thinking, after I read this one article, from Earth System Knowledge Platform, Helmholtz Institute, probably, I don't know if it's an institute, but I think it's quite famous. And I was reading this. Scientists from the GFZ and the UFZ sampling carbon dioxide on a Moffat. And the Moffat is basically something volcanic in nature. And I asked this professor, are they sure that they're talking about CO2? And he said yes. So my next question was, does, for example, cryptodomes degas in the same way with emitting CO2? And I still wait for an answer. So I don't know. Maybe it is so, maybe it's not. And I have been reading some papers about this region, Falkland, and they were measuring water and stuff, geothermal activity and gases, and I haven't stumbled across SO2 once. It's just not mentioned, it's not measured, it's nowhere. For whatever reason, despite, if you go, like, let's check it out, where's the map? Here we have a really nice map, Falkland. So it's in the bend of Germany. Which is here. Jeb Basin volcanic area. Explosive effusive, dormant, approximately 300,000 years ago. 2 cinder cones and maar are found in the Jeb Basin area of the western Eagle Rift. The Jeb Basin, or Jeb, I don't know, is an area of carbon dioxide dominated surface degassing in Moffats and mineral springs. and active seismicity. Volcano. Carbon dioxide dominated surface degassing. All right. So, I was thinking, if we have a volcano here in the middle of Europe, like almost literally in the middle of Europe, which is degassing by emitting CO2, then we probably, in order to get the full picture, if there is volcanoes degassing with SO2, as we have here on the map, for example, why doesn't it work? Now it works. We have Etna here, and obviously we have quite a lot of SO2 in the air. We have probably make something very weird. But I will go somewhere with that. Check it out. Now we are watching SO2, which is related to volcanoes. But we will take CO concentration next. This doesn't look like anything. Now I have been talking about this barrier here, which somehow prevents warm air getting north for some reason. We had a walrus in Finland. It died. Poor beast, mammal, animal. We also have this spot here. And there was earthquakes there in recent times, like in this area. And check it out. If we push play, despite there is wind blowing all the time, there is out in the sea a rather big amount of CO2 or CO. I don't know. Is it just CO? What does it mean? Check it out. It's just CO. Parts per baby, whatever that means. Why is it's not the same as in the other thing? But we have something, and here is just a little bit. Of course, it's everywhere. But here we have an increased amount of it. Out in the sea. Furthermore, we have also over St. Petersburg. Let's just keep this rolling. That's a forecast. It might be not true at all. Sorry for whistling. But I think it's really interesting. There is obviously something emitting CO. Is it carbon monoxide? Probably. I'm not a chemist, I'm not a scientist. I don't know. I would have expected to see a CO2 because everybody's talking about CO2. And here's this blob. And I didn't have really time yet to make further investigations into that because this would be a place I wouldn't be surprised to have CO2 emissions. Let's zoom in, I show you why. These are maybe sheeps, I don't know. But I think this could be very well be a mud volcano. The whole island. I don't remember, are there more of these strange features there? But that's a special place. I made videos about that already, so I won't dive into that too much. You can check it out by yourself. But I think this could be a possible mud volcano. And possible mud volcanoes might be much more common than anyone can imagine. And since I was pondering about this CO2 emission and SO2 emissions and having these kind of things here, it makes it just much more interesting. Much more? Much more. But let's go over to National Data Buoy Center quickly. And I'm not here because searching for buoys in alert mode, but as we are here, we can make this too. Anything, anywhere. Yes. We have buoy in alert mode. Doesn't seem to be too wild, but it's nonetheless in alert mode. This has a similar feature. Yeah, there was this huge earthquake. But let's go over to Norway. Where is it? Here. These are oil drilling platforms, and these might be the reason for this CO emission, what we just saw on Windy. The red one doesn't say anything. This might be the reason. But the thing is, we have earthquakes there every now and then. At the moment, there isn't too many. But there is a Viking bank, and we have a number of 84, which might indicate that there might be a seamount, which could be a mud volcano. Why not? For example, this looks really interesting. Now it fades away as we go closer. But anyway, we don't have really maps about this place, which is a pity. I just think that maybe we have to take also CO emissions into account when watching volcanic gas emissions. Now, I'm not too sure yet. If anybody knows better, tell me. Put a comment below. Links below if it's possible or whatsoever. I'm eager to learn. Since we are here and I watched Windy earlier, these might be some storm warnings. Trajectory of the storms. But the funny thing is they're on the wrong side, in a way. Since it should be hurricane season and hurricanes should plunge into the Gulf of Mexico and destroy everything, as they always have done in recent years. And now they are just here on the other side and swinging out into the ocean where there's nobody. So, which is a good thing, I guess, for many. So we have to go back to Windy, satellite, and let's zoom as far out as we can with the phone I know it's easier with a computer because you can get a much better, bigger picture. It would be nice to get this one. But as I let go, it goes back to this. What to do? 12 hours play. It's over here. Oh, sorry for that. Somewhere here is the South American magnetic anomaly. And here, I don't know if you have seen it already, or do you even know what I mean? Here we have Lake Victoria. Kampala. At the northern shore is almost exactly at the equator. And since Lake Victoria is big enough, it is very useful as a landmark to draw a sketchy line which should be the equator. So there is obviously something denting, or how to put it, disrupting here the equatorial winds, which I find very interesting. Or it's at least the clouds. There's one little cloud emerging there in the middle. And there's also this kind of connection which goes up here. And you can see this is moving basically towards Europe. And this is pushing just northwards. Even though there should be huge weather systems going westwards into the Gulf of Mexico. Because we have the hurricane season. I don't know if there has been any hurricane this year. Maybe not. Yeah, bad weather, thunderstorms and such, yeah, but not hurricane which traveled all the way there. Because the air seems to come more from the north into the Gulf of Mexico and not from the east. I don't know, maybe that's one which makes its way finally to the Americans, which is not a good thing for the Americans, of course. But I mean finally, or in a way that we would go back to normal. But there's no way back to normal. Since there are many sun cycles eclipsing at the moment, or starting to eclipse at this very time of ours. 400-year cycles, 6,000, 12,000. Maybe even the 25,000, who knows? Which would be a full circle of the precession of the equinoxes. But I think this equatorial weather pattern looks a little bit disturbed, since there is somehow a peak northwards, somewhat in the proximity of the South American magnetic anomaly. No hurricanes developing. This seems to just dissipate and move north. I don't know. There is some front moving slowly westwards, but this could be also... I don't know, this look like really low clouds. Is there something spinning there? Here is this kind of brighter spot. Yeah, it is spinning. A spinning atmospheric river. To me, it just looks like this would be like almost surface clouds. I don't know. Either that or they are really high up, but they are not on the same level as the others. Visible. Or is this the start of a really massive hurricane? As I look at this now, is it possible? There hasn't been any like real hurricanes this year, I think. But if that's one, and this makes its way all over the Atlantic, it might be really massive. But it could also be just a total own hypothesis. It makes its way like that. Because in a way it seems to move northwards a bit. And this weather system looks very strong and it has been consistent for quite some time. So it may push it back around. Something to follow. But I have no idea where I started off. CO2, SO2, or something like that. And we are again in the conversion zones. Or conversion zone. I haven't really watched Windy today. Very nice. At least we have clouds. Today it was almost, again, really, really sunny for some amount of time. And I found something very interesting about why the sun is reindeering aurinko porota from a Finnish paper. I found an old screenshot, I found some screenshot and I figured out, yeah, that's the perfect thing. Maybe I make a video about why the sun is reindeering and how it came into be, like this whole saying, since I found very interesting evidence which just undermines my theory, which was very nice. So it's just easier to explain it again with a better picture. But anyway, I leave it here. I talked so much. Bye. Thanks.